Hello, my loves. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I can't believe we're doing this. Like we're in person.
I know.
Oh, this is so exciting.
This is the first time I've done an in-person podcast, so we're just going to be in that mode of fuck around and find out. We are here today to talk all about all things money with the money queen, Lauren Plante, over here. Plante with an E. People get confused. And I really want to talk about money mindset and everything in between. And if you guys are new here, what the heck is up? This is the Healing to Happy podcast. My name is Laura Patricia Martin. We talk everything from men to marketing and all things in between to help you really live an extraordinary life from the inside out. We talk about trauma. We talk about mindset. We talk about all of it. And so I'm so excited that you are here. If this is your first episode ever, what's that? You can come check out my Instagram. It's Laura Patricia Martin, and then you can run over and see Lauren. What's your Instagram?
Lawplant at LAUPLANTE. E at the end.
E at the end.
You make sure.
We'll make sure to put that in the show notes with everything. But I'm excited to have this conversation. I know money, we were talking about this prior to jumping on here, where money is one of the things that it's like an ayahuasca journey for a lot of people, and it highlights a lot of wounds for a lot of people. But before we get into that,
yes,
this is the Healing to Happy podcast. Mm-hmm. Every time on the podcast, when I interview guests, you might do this as well. I know I pedestal people a lot. I did in the beginning of my journey of like, oh my God, they're not human. Like they live flawless lives and they don't do these things. So what is something that you are currently healing your way to happy on?
Well, I feel like you and I come together for many reasons, but one of them is because I think you teach me a lot in the area of love. I am looking to heal now my relationship to love. I have a really great relationship now with money, and they're very similar energy, so I know I'm so close, but right now I'm healing my energy with love. Yeah.
It's been a cool journey to watch you on. I'm very excited to see where it goes.
It's been interesting, that's for sure.
If anyone has a brother that you want to hook up with.
I'm single. I'm single as a Pringle, like... God, people feel bad for me. Like their men end up paying for me more out. It's like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm very happy here. That's been part of the journey, is like being happy single. And like, honestly, I could stay here forever, but like, I know my heart wants love. And so that's my thing right now. I love
that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about money. What got you into loving money?
Oh, well, like anybody, my personal journey. And I grew up with a single mom at 10 years old. My father left. And I think as the oldest sibling, it put me in a position where I felt like I had to step up. And I was 10 years old. And so my first job was, I think I was 13. I was dancing in a chicken suit outside of a salon.
Really?
Yes. You don't talk about that part much. But to the point where like I just wanted to step up and make money. Like I wanted that freedom. I wanted my mom to not have to take care of me anymore. I felt a lot of like a big burden and guilt that my father had left. And I think a lot of that comes from deep down. I felt like that was my fault. Like I could have been better. And so that's why I think I even struggle with dating, to correlate it. And so from there, I just ended up working like 3 jobs at a time, all of the time. And I never had a problem making money, but I didn't have a good relationship with money. Like no matter what, I worried about money all of the time. So I did grow up not having much money. And then I ended up being able to make a lot of money and move into real estate. I purchased properties, and I was still worrying about money. Like I was still in a place where money was still constantly like on my mind. Like, when's it gonna leave? Why am I not making more? Nothing was ever enough. And it didn't matter how much money I made. And I realized, wow, I'm miserable. Like I was happier with less money. Like, how is that possible? And so I set out on this journey after starting at the beginning stages of not making much money and then making a lot of money and figuring out what's going to make me happy. And it really is the holes and the voids inside of myself that I realized that I needed to fill them myself and not attach my worth to material, attach my worth to money, attach my worth to status, which is what I was doing. I was a big real estate agent in Manhattan, and I was like, I am on top of the world. I was in a relationship. It was a toxic relationship. From the outside looking in, everybody thought I had it all.
Mm-hmm.
And when I wanted to quit real estate, everybody was like, what are you doing? Like, how do you just let all that go? But it just didn't feel good. So then I started my coaching career, and I was like, I don't want to make money unless it feels good. So in the beginning of my coaching career, I didn't make all that much. And then I started stepping into it. And I was like, oh, am I going to burn out again? Money is the root of all evil and the reason why I wasn't happy. And I finally came to a place where, wow, hold on. You can actually have both.
Mm-hmm.
And when I figured out you could have both, I was like, I need to tell the world, because I learned how to have a healthy, loving relationship with money and use it as the tool that it is. Like, for a long time in my life, money was my master, and now I master money, which is a whole nother like ball game. It's a whole nother world. It's like, imagine living life not worrying about money ever, because I have confidence now in my skills, my abilities, and myself that I can make money whenever I want. And that's a little bit of my journey.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think you touched on like a really important thing that a lot of people do, where, especially with my audience, trauma happens, a lack of self-worth happens, and we strive for success in order to accommodate for that trauma.
Yes.
Because it's the early stage of it where, you know, I know for myself, I wouldn't even call it trauma. Like, I remember I was fucking getting my ass beat, selling drugs, doing all this shit, and I was at my naturopath, and she's like, do you want to talk about how your trauma's related to this? And I'm like, what trauma?
Love when people say that.
What? I don't have trauma. Like, what do you mean? And I built a very, very successful company. And I was hungry. Like, nothing could fill that void. No matter what was in my bank account, no matter how many stages I stood on, no matter hundreds of people that I helped, nothing was good enough until I hit that burnout point where it's just like, I'm exhausted. This isn't working. I'm lonely as fuck. I have all these health issues. It must be money's fault. Like, and then this internal drama started in my body of like, money is the root of all evil, and it's the problem, when it's like, no, girl, your trauma was.
It's your relationship with the money and what's going on inside of you. Because we constantly, that's what we do. We reach outside of ourselves. And we don't realize, like, we've got everything inside of ourselves. We've got the love of God. We've got our own self-worth. We've got our own heart and love for ourselves. And it's like, when you fill that void, I mean, I don't know about you, but like, oh, another world.
Yeah.
Another world. And I always say, like, I don't teach people about money or how to have more money. Like, I teach you how to increase your self-concept so you can increase your financial self-concept, because it's all self-worth. Yeah. Just like you with relationships, right? Like, it's all self-worth. And when you love yourself and you feel worthy in and of yourself and deserving, it's like you finally allow yourself to have money. You finally allow yourself to have love. You finally allow yourself to have joy, pleasure. And it's never that you didn't know how. It's only that you didn't allow yourself to have it. And
well, that's the addiction and chaos cycle, right? Like, that's what I see with everyone. It's like, you get money and then you lose it, or you never get money and you're constantly figuring out ways why you can't have it. It's the same thing with dating. I have love and then I self-sabotage it. I find some type of way. I also think my dating pool is limited, so I'm not even going to try dating. It's the same fucking thing. People are going in and out of this conundrum of just, it really comes down to, no, you don't feel worthy. Because when you feel worthy, and I know we've had this conversation, it's like the running joke where it's just like, I can make money when I want. Like, it's genuinely just a faucet that I turn on where it's like, I'm available that happened last night. I was like, I'm available. And I woke up and I had an extra $2,500 in my account this morning when I woke up, and I was like, wow, coffee tastes so much better this morning. Like, it's just one of those things that I can remember back in the day. It was so hard. Like, I built my business and I came back to America, and I want to hear if you've been through this or clients or what have you. And actually, let me just tell you the story, and then you can break it down as to what you think it is. So I moved back to America after building that company, and I came back to America, and I only wanted love. And I thought if I became too successful like that again, I couldn't make money. And so I would avoid deep relationships, and I would avoid success because I thought it would actually make me unlovable. But at the same time, I didn't feel worthy because I had all this debt now. And so it was just this, like, sandwich of, I can't move. Like, I can't do anything, and some man has to come and save me, and some mentor has to somehow find my blind spot to figure it out in order to save me.
That's the I want to be taken care of block.
1,000%.
I want to be taken care of, and so if I make my own money, who's going to take care of me? because we see relationships or being taken care of as like financially. That usually comes from our fathers or upbringing. And I can remember back to my personal experience, like there was this one moment and I had to release the sugar out of this. Oh, it was so hard. And I tell you, I wanted these Vans so bad when I was younger. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. And, I want to be young, hip, and I wanted these Vans. And my mom was the one working all the time. My father didn't really work. He like stayed home and did the stock market and all this stuff. And so I begged my dad, please take me to get these Vans. And he said, okay, fine, I will. And it like meant the world to me because my dad never really did anything for me. He didn't really like take care of us. He was just present, but my mom did everything and he just wouldn't. And so I was so excited. The day came and he was supposed to take me to get the Vans. And I look at him, I'm like, I'm ready to go. And he goes, hey, we're not going. And it broke my heart. And I said, why? And he had no answer. And all I could resort to is, I'm not good enough. And that's what stuck in my brain. So I had something similar to that where I always wanted to heal that wound through somebody else. So if you didn't pay for my dinner, like I'm highly offended. If you didn't pay for this or you didn't pay for everything, I'm highly offended. And I took it very personal because it was an attack on that very moment of my life. And so now I've moved through that quite a bit. And part of that was learning how to make my own money. And yes, I mean, you get it. Is like women sometimes block themselves because it's like we want to be taken care of. But we forget that there's so many other ways to be taken care of. But if there's that money wound with the masculine, usually, it's going to get a little funky. But that's what you were experiencing. I know you ran into another issue like that when, a couple months ago. And it came up. We're like friends. We were with guys. And they didn't step up. And that really triggered you. Remember?
Oh God, yeah.
It really triggered you. And you called me and you're like, it's a money issue. I'm like, it's not a money issue.
It's a masculine issue.
Well, it was more that I want to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And you snapped out of that one pretty quick once you knew what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I know. I like rang Lauren and I'm like, I think I have a money wound. And she's like, yeah, no, definitely don't have a money wound. Love money. Like,
You just,
it's not it.
you don't, at least like where you're at right now, you don't.
No,
right?
I
and
did
it can
for the
come up in
longest
different
time.
times.
It does at it does when I hit a next like income gap level or like my current block that I'm going through right now that I had to break through with my coach is success and relationship. So my father was a traveling salesman. So the more successful he became, the less I had a dad. And the more I became the problem. And so as my partner is scaling his business and the less time he has for me, the more I want to cause problems so someone can pay attention to me and can nitpick and to do these things versus being peace and doing this stuff. Because my fear state is you won't love me anymore. So I need quality time even more now because you're the traveling salesman and you're doing these things. And so I had this huge epiphany the other day where it's like, that's not going to be this lifetime. Like you literally get to repattern that and you can celebrate people's success versus cutting it down. And you can actually support their success too. Wow. And like that doesn't have to take away from the relationship. The relationship can still be a part of things. But in my brain, I was like, no, success, even though I have worked through the like, I can't make money and be loved at the same time, it's the my man making and having more then. And I'm like, that to me was just like, oh, if you have all of these things and you have this success and you do this stuff, where do I fit in?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, and I've had this talk with like our highly successful friends and things like that, they're like, it is a trade-off. When you're with a highly successful man, a high profile man, it's the trade-off. You have less time with that person. And their mind is in a different way. But like, if they're a brilliant man, the time with you is more quality, but they have to establish that. And so my fear was like the sabotage way. And it's just like, damn, it's always a relationship and a money block. Like they go hand in hand.
Yes. But also the high performer woman. You and I are both high performer women. We like control. Oh, God, we own our own business because we get to control everything. Yes. Because our whole lives, we grew up having to take care of ourselves. Right. And so the second we start to and we should talk about getting out of your comfort zone and expansion, because the second you start to exit your comfort zone and you have to be more submissive, it's frightening.
Oh my God.
Frightening for anybody. But also what you're battling is like, I'm just leaving my comfort zone. Of course you're going to kick and scream. Expansion and leaving your comfort zone is uncomfortable. So as this is happening, you're just used to being in control. You're used to being in the high performing woman, but you prayed for this, right? You prayed for a situation where some man's going to step on it and is masculine. He's going to step up and take care and make sure he can fund the family and all the kiddos that you want to have and all the things. And you wanted it, but we say we want things, but subconsciously we're not ready. And then when it happens, it's like you're catching yourself, which is so good. But this is very common for the high performing woman. It's like, I want a man that's just a little less than me, but then I'm going to complain about it the whole time.
Exactly.
And
make him feel even less than me and point it out all the time.
Yeah. And I'm going to diminish him so that he stays below me. And really, that's just my comfort zone, although it's not really what my heart's desire is. Yeah. And that's when like the soul and the mind get in conflict, because the mind is what holds fear and the soul is what holds the true desires and the alignment. And so your mind is like, is this fearful? Like, protect yourself, because that's what happens. It's like your brain's job is to protect yourself at all costs. So it's going to bring up self-sabotage and all of the different shields, people-pleasing, perfectionism, you name it. Yeah. And
that's what comes out. And then you sabotage and you nitpick fights. And it's so funny because I can even find myself now. It's like submission is so hard, but that's where success also comes from. When you rely on yourself so much, especially in partnership, and in life, and it's like, I know how to make money. I know my rules. I know how to do these things. Can I do both? And that transitioning between the two has been so interesting, and I'm excited for you to go through this, where it's like I have my life here and doing these things, and I get to be an alpha woman, and I get to do these things, and then in partnership, you're sitting in these spaces, and you're like, oh fuck, I just have to like shut up sometimes. I don't know how to shut up because I like how to control everything. Yeah. Like, it's so hard and it's so funny, but it does come back to, I think it's also still related to self-worth, because that navigating is like, do I still trust my decision making and trusting you to lead things? Do I still trust you to lead, to build the vision that I have for my life? Can I trust someone else to do that? Yeah. And can I also do it? And I think that's the dance of being a high fucking performer.
Yeah.
Building that all out.
And we forget about the God piece too. Like, can you trust that God put you two together for a reason? Maybe it's not supposed to go as planned. Yeah. Right? Maybe he has a higher purpose for you. Like, we don't know. Yeah. But we can know in our hearts, like, it feels right. I'm supposed to be here. That's all I know. I may kick and scream sometimes.
I think that's the thing. I'm not kick and scream a lot. It's so fucking normal. Like, when you're stretching, it's the money concept. Like, the more money, like, you went through this. You went through a high income jump. Like, big income jump into, after you chilled for a bit, like regulated your nervous system, moved, did the things,
I was in retirement.
and you literally, she was, when I first met her, she was in retirement, she was just like, floating, like this whole thing, and I was like, this whole group is floating, like I can't be here.
I was in retirement for a little while when she met me. I was in retirement for 2 years. After I had bought properties and I finally was secure for like the first time in my life I could take a breath, I had to come off survival mode. So that's part of the journey to becoming not just successful, but also fulfilled, is you do have to learn how to hustle, right? You have to dive into it. You have to learn how to make money. Part of the process is like, some people don't know how to make money. They want to go right to their purpose. I don't want to do anything that I don't like. Well, you don't have the skills.
That's all entrepreneurship is. Plot twist.
Right. But some people want to skip steps, and it's like, you don't even know how to make money yet, or have a decent relationship with money. You don't even know how to manage money. You don't know how to have a savings account. You don't know how to put money in different places. Yeah. Let's learn how to make money first. Yeah. Then you find your purpose. You don't ruin it. Yeah. Right. That's a really big part to it. So you learn how to make money. Then you dive into hustle mode and you start building this business, because building a business takes time, sacrifice, effort. It just is what it is. And then you get to a place where you learn to enjoy it. You learn to incorporate balance, that work-life balance, kind of like what you were talking about, having it all. Yeah. Like having a loving relationship, having your connection to source and God, and having your purpose in your career, but also managing your health. And if we don't stay in the middle of those 4 pillars, we attach too strongly to one, the others suffer. Yeah. Right? It's just what happens, and we become imbalanced, and that's when we don't feel good. Your job and your goal is to try to stay in the middle so you can have it all, which is something that you've been working on here. But I was then trying to come to a place where I could be happy and successful.
Yeah.
And so I needed to come off survival mode, and I had to detox from chaos. It took me 2 years to detox from chaos.
Yeah.
And I was making money because I owned properties and I was running my business, but I was just flowing.
She was chilling.
I was chilling, but I wasn't having the impact that I wanted to have. And so I dove in deeper. Well, I don't know how many months ago now, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And because I felt it on my heart, like it's time to help more people. I could hear God literally saying, like, it's time to help more people. And I could feel it so deep in my heart. And now, like, money is just money. Like, it is literally, my bank account is the scoreboard for how many people I get to help and the value to which I give.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Because I think so many people are like, oh my God, you love money so much. You're so fucking materialistic. It's so this, it's so that. Like, I get said this stuff quite a bit to me because I'm just like, I talk openly about how much money I make. I talk about what I do. I talk about what I make in a day. Like, I find it fascinating. And honestly, the more wealthy the people I hang out with, that is normal conversation, what we talk about. I made $25K today. I made this today. Like, it's just a conversation because money is energy and also money is impact.
Right.
But I think a lot of people block themselves from getting to that because they view money as bad. Because they view, because we've all experienced the bad side of money. People using money solely to, again, fill that void, to somehow, if I can snort enough drugs, get enough women, buy enough cars, have a big house that I can't find anyone in, have another family that I can't, like, all the things we've heard negatively about money. Therefore, when people can openly talk about money, they're like, you're materialistic and you're superficial. Whereas the way I see it, it's a scoreboard for how many people I help. And when I look at things, because I help high level people, like, I am not a beginner person. Like, I just, everyone knows that when they look at my brand and how I speak. And it's one of those things where, and it doesn't mean I don't help people in the beginning, but you have to know how to fucking hustle and you want to know how to hustle. That's my energy and my brand. Where when you're going on that journey, I don't know where the fuck my thought process was going.
I know where you were going with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I love nice things.
Yeah.
I love nice things and I enjoy spending money and I enjoy having nice things, but I understand what you're saying. Whereas, like, talking about money or having nice things makes you a bad person.
Yeah, there we go. That's where it's
and that's where it gets confusing. Yeah, I was following, I was tracking.
Thank you.
And here's the thing. People who don't want to talk about money are the ones that are ashamed of their situation with money, where they're with money with money, and they tie it to their self-worth. Just because you have no money does not mean you're not an amazing person. It just doesn't, right? It only means that you haven't mastered the skill of creating more money. Yeah. And that's okay. You have not put out offers. You have not worked, or you haven't done things in order to create impact and make more money. Yeah. Not a problem. But the people who don't want to talk about money, they tie their worth to it. And they also see money as bad because it's been an issue in their family before, or it's been an issue in their relationship. It is a tough topic, but typically people don't want to talk about it because it defines their worth. Or they want to overly talk about it because it defines their worth. And they're like, oh, I'm the richest person in the room. My one-on-one clients are usually the ones that make a lot of money, but they don't know how to feel fulfilled, and they attach really highly to money. Yeah. And so when they're there, they get really uncomfortable when there's richer people in the room, or people who are better than them in the room, better than them. And when I say better than them, they have higher status, or they have a bigger bank account, supposedly, right? When really we don't even know the truth. Yeah. Like, you could make $100,000 per month, but you could be spending $98,000 per month.
And so many people are doing that.
You have $2,000 left over. Yeah. Okay. Like, you're probably the same as the person making $50,000 a year who also has $2,000 left over because they don't have as much of an overhead. Yeah. So we judge really prematurely, first of all, when it comes to that. Second of all, not everybody's rich looks the same. I love luxury. I just really do. I used to sell luxury homes. Like, that was my thing. And that's what I like. I also want, like, a home in the mountains one day. And so that's what my rich looks like. Yeah. Your rich might look like living on a farm and having cattle and spending your money on cattle and all of those things. Yeah. We think rich has to look one way because on social media, like, what comes up is these Porsches and the high performance vehicles and this and that, and somebody posing with it, and there's nothing wrong with posing with it if they want to do that. But I'm just saying, like, you start to get this like vision of being rich, and so we're like, ew, that's icky, that's gross. But everybody's version of being rich is different. Now I'm gonna get into the part where services, paying for somebody's services. If I did not buy, say I was into high performance vehicles, I'm not, but if I did not purchase a high performance vehicle, somebody wouldn't be able to make those high performance vehicles and put in all their creativity, all of their excitement, all of these high value parts, and all of the things that go into a high performance vehicle. They wouldn't even be able to do what they love to do.
Yeah.
Who am I to like say like, no, your stuff is like, I don't want your stuff. Like,
yeah.
Because people value that, they purchase it, and it keeps their business running. Because people value relationship coaching, the money goes to you, and you're then able to take that money and use it for things that you value.
Yeah.
A luxury home if you like a luxury home. I know you like vacations, nice vacations. You want to stay at the Omni. You know, like these are nice things that you enjoy. And if you didn't put your money there, that business wouldn't flourish.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying to your brain when you do things like that and you say things like that, like, ugh, like high designer purses and all of this, like what you're saying is you're never going to make your services high value because it's icky. And I think that is kind of where people stop themselves. Like, it's going to be icky if I do, or it's going to be, people are going to be jealous. People are going to be vengeful. I have a client right now who she does not want to get any bigger because she thinks people will be jealous of her. And that's just it.
It's a very common problem.
But if we all just honored where everybody is at and what everybody's rich looks like, I think everything would be okay. It's the intention behind it. Did I buy the bag just to fill a void and get a dopamine high? We've all done it. I mean, my Amazon purchases are big dopamine highs.
To fucking do that for a bit, and then you realize the high doesn't hit anymore.
Yes. But every time I purchase something, I say, I get to. I just paid my chiropractor the other day. I get to. Literally God-given services, if you ask me. Like, I'm saying, like, I get to purchase that. Every time I purchase on Amazon, I literally think about how amazing the guy is who created Amazon because it shows up in my door in 2 days, 3 days.
Thank you, Bezos.
Honestly, thank you, Bezos. And I think about these things and I'm like, I am so grateful.
Yeah.
But then there's other people who are like, oh, I have to spend money on this. It's always something. I never have enough. And you see the mindset difference.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can hear it just by the little comments. And I think that's a takeaway for anyone is just paying attention to how often you say, oh, my God, that's so expensive. Or, oh, my God, I can't afford that. Or, oh, my goodness, like, da-da-da-da-da, whatever the statement is, like the audacity that someone would charge X amount for X amount. And I'm just, anytime someone does that, we just had the conversation. Tony Robbins is $1 million for an hour. My response is, oh my God, I love that he values his time so much.
That is what you said. That's exactly what you said.
I love that. I'm like, that just shows me how much you view your time. And so this is how I started to actually heal my money mindset. My relationship to money is when I started to study luxury brands and how much attention to detail they were putting into everything.
Oh my gosh.
They make sure this is why I love luxury hotels. Like, my boyfriend does not like the fact that I don't like to go camping. I don't care. There's so much attention to details in luxury hotels. And that's how Steph and I actually became friends, because we started to study luxury brands outside of the coaching industry so that we could bring it in, from the scent to the textures to the customer service to the attention to details to the personalization of things. Like, they remember everything. And I love that. And so it's how do you then bring that into your brands and things like that? And because of that, it's like, I love to pay for it because I love how much intention you're putting into all of this. It's not just a quick fix. It's not just something. It's like there is so much energy and thought process that goes into that service that then makes me feel special.
Right.
So I'm not going to shame you for doing that. I'm not going to be like, the audacity that I have to spend a couple $1,000s to stay at your hotel. I'm like, thank you very much. I can't wait. Where's my car? Like, I'm just like, this makes me so happy. But when someone tells me how much they spend on a handbag, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
It doesn't fall into your value systems when it comes to your financial values.
Exactly.
And that's totally fine. Yeah, I mean, it is the contribution to the world. Like, the spiritual number for money is 8, right? It's an infinity symbol. Like, there you go. Somewhere. It's right there. And so it's supposed to be a give and receive, a give and receive. And if you're blocked in either one, if you're blocked in your receiving, if you have a receiving block, big block, then you're gonna struggle to make money, but you find that you're only spending money, right? Or if you have a block to giving, that was mine. I had a hard time spending money. And
Yeah.
so there was a point where I
Her
didn't.
financial advisor literally told her she needs to
He
spend
told me I had to
money.
spend $4,000. I croaked. I croaked.
I'd be like, where am
And
I
then I came
going?
back to life and I was like, all right, I'll
Japan?
try it. And I did it, didn't I? I spent a lot of money. I went ahead and I sat with it and I was with it. And then I found a coach I wanted to work with and I spent $10,000. And I even said to myself, I was like, if she was any less, I wouldn't have spent it. I wanted to spend $10,000.
Under $1,000 now. I'm like, it's not worth my time.
Right. I wanted to spend $10,000. I wanted to. And I was like, if she charged any less, I think I would have went with somebody to charge $10,000. Why? Because that's energy. And that's how much energy I wanted to back that endeavor. I knew that. And I said, this is how much I want to hold myself accountable. And I wanted to do it with the right person. But we have to remember the give and take of the flow, the contribution. Like you were saying with the high luxury brand, like the Omni. Their marketing, you know how much money they paid for marketing? Like they invested so much money, but that gave a marketer a job. And that gave somebody else a job. And that gave somebody else a job. And you see how it just it waters the grass of the world. And it keeps the economy going. It keeps people creative, keeps people desiring. People think desire is not a good thing. If you look at little kids, if they didn't desire, they would never learn, right? And so there's double-edged sword with that one. But it just keeps the world moving and going. And if we didn't have all of this, we'd sit still, and humans are not meant to sit still. Just as nature is constantly evolving outside, humans are the same. Nature teaches us so much about ourselves, and we have to keep evolving. And this is the way of the world. We don't really have a choice. I think that's another thing. People hate money, and it's like, well, it's not going anywhere, so you better figure it out.
Well, just figure out money is energy. It's like the thing that I was thinking about when you were talking is, do you feel like more people have a receiving or a giving block?
I don't know. I'd say that's half and half. I think it depends who you're talking to, because receiving block.
There's a tropical storm going on outside right now, and the house is shaking.
It did just shake a little. I didn't know if that was the storm. When it comes to having a receiving block, this is the people pleasers, right? I'm so used to giving all of the time that I don't really know how to receive, or make myself a priority. But then there's the giving block, and you can have both too at the same time, which is like, I'm giving away a piece of me if I give you something, or if I spend money. It's like almost like it feels like you're giving away like a piece of you that you can never get back. It's a very lack mindset way of thinking. And I don't know if you've ever thought that way when you're like trying to give somebody a compliment. Like, it's like I'm like giving something away to them, and then it's almost like I lose control. Like, let me just sit here and stay here. That was my thing. It's like I had like $80K in my bank account, and I was like, I don't want to spend any of it. And it's like, you can have however much you want in your bank account, but like I could have like invested, I could have done things, and I eventually did. But I was just sitting there with it, and I was like, I don't want to give it away. Because that's part of me. And so when you practice that detachment, and you know that like your energy is limitless, money is limitless, like you can give compliments freely. Like you don't have to worry about that. You can pay for the person's coffee behind you because you know that money's going to make it back to you. You can invest. Like, I'm about to invest in this AI company I'm really excited about. I mean, don't quote me on it, but it's just these little things that I wouldn't have done before, because it's like I'm giving to somebody else's company. And it's like, wait, once you realize oneness and how money moves as energy, as one, because we are all one, moving in synchronicity with one another, it's like money is just a tool to do the same. And it's like you realize that that energy finds its way back to you as long as you let it free. And it's the law of detachment. Let it go and it'll find its way back to you. But if we hold on to it so tightly, it can't move. Literally stuck in the hose. So I think it goes both ways. I think people can have both. Receiving block is extremely prominent with a lot of my clients, because it's like we're so used to giving, and I need to give in order to feel worthy and to prove my worth. So then when you give me a compliment, it's so uncomfortable. Somebody gives me a gift and it's like, what did I do with it? Take it back. Or like, I need to get you something and give you something just to like even it out. It's another control thing. And there's also a self-worth thing. That goes into capacity. If your capacity is small and somebody gives you a gift, it's like, oh, sabotage, it doesn't fit in my current capacity.
Can't hold it.
Same with money. If your current capacity is $50,000 a year and somebody tries to give you $100,000, I asked my client this. I said, what if somebody gave you $100,000 tomorrow? She's like, I'd have to get rid of it. It was the first thing subconsciously that came out of her mouth. I was like, yes, because your capacity can't hold for it. So you have to literally get in the mindset of $100,000 earner.
Yeah.
You have to be that, and you have to sit with it, and you have to be able to receive and know you're worthy of it. And that's increasing your financial self-concept, and you watch capacity expand, and that's expansion.
Yeah.
When I hit that big month, like, you know, when you hit big months, it's like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable.
But at first you don't even know. Like, you're like, I'm so tired all the time. Like, what's going on? And then you're like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's I moved. Maybe this, maybe my health. Like, it's the weather. And then you're like, oh, energetically, I just hit an upgrade and I'm exhausted and my body's trying to catch up and slow me down. Because that's what we do, right? It's like, oh, I don't need to. I do this when I hit big numbers. I'll notice. Steph called me out the other day. She's like, you always have these big fucking highs. And then all of a sudden, you want to stop talking about things. Like, you just sit there and you're like, I don't know what to say. She's like, you're one of the most creative people I know. What do you mean you don't know what to say? She's like, I'm just going to point this out to you. You do this every time. And it's like, you don't have a block, but it's just like, again, I'm addicted to chaos and I know it. Yeah. And it's just like that type of mechanism where it's like, oh, I hit a high. Okay, let me go low so I can chase the high again and do these things versus can I be in continuous growth?
Can it be that good consistently?
Exactly.
That's really scary because what if you lose it? Right? So one thing you said is like when you expand, it is extremely uncomfortable. Yeah. And people want to retreat. Right? We're talking here. We're in our comfort. This is like our current capacity. We're going here. People are like, Mayday. Like your brain's going to go haywire. Short circuiting. We're talking like you're not going to be well. Like you're going to be anxious. You're probably not going to sleep very much or you're going to be super tired. One or the other, right? When you are expanding because you're leaving your comfort zone. And so people see that as like, oh, there's something wrong. Like, let me go back. Yeah. And then they go back to their comfort zone and they never grow because they're like, I never want to be uncomfortable. Yeah. Learning how to sit in the discomfort is a huge skill if you want to grow and evolve, especially in the area of finances. And then when it comes to addiction to chaos, I think it can be very much correlated with fear of loss. And if it can be that good, like really, like you were saying earlier, like, can I have it all? And can it be that good? Fear of success, I think, is far more prominent than anything else because it's like, if I have it all, I'm not going to suffer anymore. And I don't know how to be there. Suffered my whole life. My childhood was so tough. I don't know anything else. It's not going to be chaotic anymore. I need to throw a wrench in it. My client literally did that the other day. I tell you, he has everything. He has an amazing partner that he's going to marry. He runs a multi-million-dollar business and it's going swimmingly. And his health is in check and he is connected to source and he's been reading stoicism and all these things. He is good. And he's like, literally, he's like, how can I throw a wrench in it? How can I mess it up? Yeah. And I said, why would you want to do that? Am I worthy of it? But also, I don't know how to be here. Yeah. And it's not that people don't know how to create success. It's that they don't know how to be successful. Yeah. Consistently. Because if it's that good, what if I lose it? It hurts so much more. It hurts so much more. And if you've ever lost somebody, I know my dad left. You had a family member that passed, your mother. And when you've lost something you've ever loved, it could have been even a breakup. You never want to feel that pain again. Yeah. Ever. I'll tell you, most pain I've ever felt in my entire life. And that's, my brain is constantly protecting me from ever feeling that pain again. So how about we just make sure it's good, but it's not too good. Yeah. So then if we lose it, like, it's not as big of a deal. Because the hard part is, like, I really loved my dad. Right? And when he was gone one day, it's like pain. Right? And that's what happens. And so if you've ever lost somebody or if you lost something and there was this abrupt just like loss of something, that can come up. And for many, that's happened. And
well, this is why I always say the love and money is always connected, because tell me the problem that you have with money and it might not even be a problem because you might still be really, really successful. Yeah. I bet you have the same problem in your relationship. Or if this is your problem in a relationship, I bet it's the same way you have with money. And a lot of us, it is that I don't want it to be too much because what if it leaves? Because finally I'm safe. And then what if it's gone? So I'm just going to coast at this mediocre at best because I don't know if I can hold it, which again goes back to looping it back, the self-worth piece. Yeah. I don't know if I'm worthy of things being this good because I haven't seen it. I haven't felt it. I don't know what to do with it. I can't place it.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I'm just going to be good enough so that if it leaves, because I'm already expecting it to leave, it won't hurt as much.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that with my wealth all the time. I sit there
Yeah.
and I'm like, my brain goes dark. I love my brain. She go dark often.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think about it where I'm just like, oh my God. Like, things shift in my business every single month. Every single month, I'm like, wake up and I'm a clean slate. It's a fucking new magical day. We have no money. What are we
Clear
doing?
canvas. Yeah.
Literally, we're recording this beginning of August. I'm like, we have a new business model. We have a new thing happening. This is what we're doing. We're all in.
Yeah.
It's magic. I can make whatever happen. But I get into this state of like, but what if not? And it's that fear. And I have to let my brain go there. And I'm like, Laura, we've been broke on a couch donating plasma, had no money. Our family doesn't fucking speak to I don't have a backup plan. Like, I don't have anywhere to go. I have friends, but like, I don't have like family to fall into. And it's like, what if everyone turns against me and I have nothing and everyone hates me? Like, and I'm like, yeah, you'd figure it the fuck out though.
Yeah.
Every single one of us would figure it out. And I think this is why also I don't know truly successful people that haven't hit a rock bottom. Like,
oh, no.
I just think, and this is a big thing too, I was actually just talking with my boyfriend. I was about to say his name. And I was just like, but I was just talking with him about this, where it's just like, because I was listening to him on a sales call, and it's like people will come into wanting to start a business and wanting to start these things, and they're like, oh, but I want to do it debt free, or I want to do this, and I don't want this to happen. And it's like, excuse me.
Oh, so I don't want risk.
I want no risk to start a business. And I'm like, when? Please tell me when you heard a high. And he's on the phone. He's like, I want to have 100K months. And I was like, please tell me one person you have heard making 100K that had no debt, that started with no debt. Every person has lived on someone's couch, took out credit card debt, built themselves up from something, had a rock bottom, because honestly, it gives you an internal urgency that is this, let's fuck around and find out, because I know I will figure it out.
And that's it. It's not just the urgency. It's the energetic message you just sent your brain that I'm betting on myself. It's confidence. And then when you have confidence in something, if somebody is on the street selling me something with confidence, I'll buy it.
Every time.
What?
Every fucking time.
If you're that convinced, so am I. So am I. So why not put that confidence in yourself? And you said something so key. It's like money or your partner. If you put all your worth in either one, you will lose everything. It's dangerous, extremely dangerous. You put your worth in yourself, in the confidence you have in yourself to pick yourself back up off the floor after you've cried for a year. Yeah, whatever it takes. But also to pick yourself back up, to make more money. If my business went down tomorrow, I know I could start another business, or I can get back into sales. Man, I could sell something to anybody. I swear I could. And me knowing that is why I make money. Yeah. Me knowing that is why I have a healthy relationship with money. Yeah. It's why I don't worry about money anymore. And this is a mindset people dream of. I dreamt of it. I worried about money, like I said in the beginning, all the time. But to not worry about money, doesn't matter how much money I have. I'm always going to be good, because it doesn't matter. I'm good. And same thing with a partner. It's like, it's of course hard to think that one day maybe we wouldn't be with our partner or something would happen. But we also need to know that I'm so lovable no matter what. Yeah. I'll always be able to get there. I'll always be okay, because I know me, and I've got this connection with God. I'm connected to source, and I know the universe always backs me, and I've got me too. And I take the signs, and I'm guided, and that's the big piece. So when we talk about self-worth, some people might be like, what is self-worth? How do you cultivate self-worth? It's taking all of the energy you put on the outside world and taking it and putting it on your inside world. Because inner world first, then creates your external world. Yeah. What you believe and feel inside. People want to make money. Why? Why do you think people want to make money?
Validation, external approval, safety, freedom.
Safety, security. Yeah. You're only seeking a feeling. Yeah. It does not matter if you make 50K a week or 50K a year. It really doesn't. If you feel secure right here, right now. Yeah. Why wouldn't you be able to attract whatever it is that needed to make you secure? Yeah. Of course you would, because you're secure. That is what you're attracting. Like that is what you are. Be it first, then create it. Because then the brain opens up all these new pathways, and it's like, ooh, I can create that opportunity. Oh, that's how I can create 50K weeks. Oh, that's how I can do this or that. Like that's how it's all created. Yeah. And so we're really only searching for a feeling. Why do people want relationships? They want to feel love, safety, secure. So if you felt love already, you felt security already, you're gonna attract a partner who's
Mm.
going to also add to that security and love because you already have that in yourself.
Yeah.
And they'll have it in themselves too. And so it's an easy way to like kind of bring it down to like to the ground of like all these things of like what is self-worth, what is all of this stuff. It's like that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to watch and see. Like I've watched it play out in your life.
Mm-hmm. Literally, I was listening to you talk, and that's what I'm thinking of. It's just like, what is it, 9 months? Well, I'm coming up on a year now. Oh my god, it'll be a year next month. Where it's like my partner broke up with me. I had literally no money to move to Florida. Steph was like, "You should be. I have a room. I have a house. You can come here." I said, "What are you doing? You have no money." And I'm like, "I'm fucking around finding out. I have no idea." And it's like
The Lorelei.
literally, I'm like, I don't fucking know, but like. Yeah. I hit such a low, and I'd been trying for so long in America, and it was so hard. And I had been stripped of every piece of safety a normal human is supposed to have: family, finances, health, money. I had nothing. Mm-hmm. And it was in that moment where I was just like, one, I got suicidal. And then I woke up from that because I was used to my brain going that dark. And then I was just like, okay, that's not an option. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, fuck it. Let's fuck around and find out. Like, let me just go and stop caring and stop pedestaling money and stop doing this stuff. And I remember I just had this energy where I was just like, I'm a big fucking deal. Detached. And I remember when we showed up to the mastermind and someone just assumed I was making 30 grand a month. And I was like, yeah. Say less. I do 100%. And I remember I came home to my mentor and I was telling her that, and she's like, well, that's your energy. Now you better match it. And I was like, dope.
Yeah.
Let me. And it's like, I've done that with money because I just assume the identity of like, this is how much I make. Because I then went and studied the trauma side of things where it's like, I legitimately can't make money if my prefrontal cortex is not unlocked. And if I'm constantly in my limbic system, in my amygdala, I'm in fight or flight, which means I can't creatively think. I am a huge creative person. That is my brand. I have wild branding, stories, like that is what I do. Like it is my art. That's what makes me money. And if that is shut off, I can't do anything. So I was like, okay, so what makes me safe? And I was just like, credit cards exist.
Yes.
I'm safe. I technically won't be able to buy a house, but I'm safe. If I need 70 grand, I can take it out of my credit card. It's fucking fine. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I started to do the same thing with love, where it's just like, yeah, like I'm good without it. Mm-hmm. Like, let me figure out a way to be complete and not pedestal these things. Because I feel like for so long, especially in our 30s, we're sitting there being like, I need financial stability and I need a man. And we're pedestaling these things, not realizing we're putting ourselves in fight or flight. That's why you don't have that yet, because you are putting it in this energetic chokehold that then is like, no, I need it and I'm incomplete if I do not have this, and therefore I can't creatively think and I can't actually express myself and I can't do the things, and I will people please in order to get it, and I will sacrifice all these things in order to get that because I am not worthy until I have. And it's like, breathe. Like literally just breathe.
Trust.
And trust.
Faith over fear.
And it's the best thing in the world where it's like, I could lose all my money. I could. But I know how to make money, so I'm not that scared.
You don't lose your skills.
I don't lose the skills. I could lose my man. I'm really good at dating. Like, that's never a problem. But I chose that person. It would suck for a bit, but like, that's not my life.
Right.
It's like, it comes back to self. It is always self. And I think all of us are looking for that in externals, in money, in men, in the things where it's like, no, all of what you seek is within self.
Right.
And when you finally get to that point, everything opens up. Yes, you have to fucking work your ass off. Making money is not easy. Everyone needs to fucking stop with that shit. It is hard. It takes time. No one wants to do it. That's why no one does entrepreneurship and succeeds. Like, it's literally 1%, but like, it's the most beautiful thing in the world if you actually commit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people strive for, but they're not open to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like, it always comes back to self-worth. Like, it always comes back to identifying with yourself and then focusing on the relationship you have with money, the relationship that you have with your partner, and managing that relationship, not attaching yourself to it. Because when you attach yourself to it, you don't. That's when people are like, I'm an empath. Like, yes, empath is a thing.
Codependent.
Yeah, empath is a thing. It's certainly a thing, right? But like, it's really your safety mechanism to attach yourself to somebody else's energy to maintain control.
Yeah.
If you simply release control, you let go and let God. My dating coach, or a relationship coach, Kelly Kama, she's amazing. And she talks about her story about how when she met her husband, she was wanting a monogamous relationship. And he had mentioned he was open.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to him and she said, I trust in God. Like, I know that he might leave me
Mm-hmm.
if I tell him that I want a monogamous relationship. She went to him and said, I want a monogamous relationship. And she said, whatever God says,
Yeah.
like, I trust. And instead of trying to morph herself into some poly or open or whatever she wasn't, that she didn't want to be, she said, I'm going to trust. And now they're married and they're monogamous and all of the things, and it's beautiful. But she had to open herself up to trusting, and whatever's going to happen happens.
Mm-hmm.
And because we haven't been saved in the past, and I call this child brain versus adult brain. Child brain is, I'm still stuck under somebody else's roof. I don't have a cell phone. I don't have resources. I have to listen to this person that's not safe or that doesn't know how to take care of me. I'm stuck under somebody else's roof. That's that feeling of stuck, right? Versus adult, we have a cell phone. We've got the computer. We've got the internet. Like, we can go run out down the street if we had to. Like, we are safe because we're big kids. We're big adults now. We're empowered. We have safety. But child brain says, I'm not safe. I'm controlled by somebody else, and then wants to control everything and try to give yourself this illusion that, like, oh, I've got control. When we don't. And that's the whole, like, being submissive, detaching from money, allowing, putting in the work, but letting it to flow. And also looking for the reasons why, like, just looking for direction, right? Like, what I teach is, okay, how much do you want to make this month? So say you decided, how much do you want to make this month?
$44,000.
$44,000. Okay, how are you going to make that? And you would give me a list of things and ways that, how are you going to do that, right?
Me. I don't know. It's just going to happen.
Yes. Well, money likes direction. So, and of course we need to do something to make money, right? And so you would put together all of the ways in which you were going to do that.
Yeah.
And then we would say, okay, I'm so happy and grateful. I make $44,000 a month. And you're going to get in that energy, and you're going to start to feel what it's like to be in that $44,000 per month, so that your system's not shocked when it does happen. And then we self-sabotage and all the things, right? So we want to get into that energy, and you want to start feeling really grateful for what hasn't even made it into your peripherals. Yeah. And you want to have a system and a plan. And then you have to also learn how to ask the universe and ask God. And it's not, I want $44,000, because when you say I want, you have to, it keeps you in a place of wanting, you see. And if you say, I'm going to have, it keeps you in a place of having. And so that's the difference. Some people are like, I want, I need. Okay. I need is all I hear. I'm going to keep you in a place of needing and wanting and desiring. I'm going to have, I'm going to make it work. This is what I'm going to do. Puts you in that place. So then we learn how to ask. And then we say, please guide me how to get there. And then we put together this plan. And then sometimes the $44,000 month doesn't happen. Okay. Where were you blocked? That's when we can start to navigate the blocks. Or the $44,000 month happens, and then we got to regulate for a minute, right? It's like, oh my gosh, right? And like, can I even handle this? Do I need different systems in place? And like, then the whole business stuff comes into it. But this is how you start to like manifest and make more money. You get into the energy of it, and then you get there, and then you regulate for a while. Okay, I'm good. I can be here, versus going backwards and being like, oh, it's uncomfortable and whatever. So then we go here and we stay here. Or if we didn't make it, like, what are the blocks? Do you have a receiving block? Was there some belief that you didn't fully believe? And 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. It's like, I didn't really believe I could make $44,000 this month. That's where I've run into, where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to manifest the next level. And sometimes we don't even want to. Like, there's some times where I'm like, I'm not even ready to hit like X amount. Yeah. And I wait until I'm ready, and then I say, okay, I want to hit X amount. And then I work towards it that month, and then there was blocks. I didn't fully believe it. I didn't fully believe that was possible. That's what I'm running into now with love in relationships, is that I don't really want it. I say I want it, but like, I don't really want it. And I know that, right? And sometimes we don't really want it because it's a lot. What if I have it and I lose it, right? And all those things end up coming up. And so that's kind of what that process looks like when creating these energetically. right? Your business coach will teach you how to do the business stuff and all that, and I work on business too.
Yeah.
But your branding coach, right, will focus on all the branding stuff.
We keep the funnels.
Yes.
A lot of things.
And you need all of the pieces, right? But when you know how to do all of the things and you're not making the money, that's when you come to me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm doing everything right. Like I've listened to every podcast, read every book, I worked with coaches and whatever else. But like there's an energetic block and I know it. And it's your relationship to money.
Yeah.
And your belief in your ability to make more money.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good.
It's good stuff.
Is there any last pieces of anything that's coming up that you feel like I didn't ask or that you want to cover?
I don't think so. We covered expansion. We covered so much. We could self-sabotage would have to be a different episode.
I mean, I feel like we should do that. I mean, on a different episode, because where are we at? Oh my goodness, we're at 55 minutes.
Wow. This is going to be a good episode.
That was good.
It was good. Yeah, I mean, if you need any support, I would love to help.
Hit yourself.
I would love to help.
Them. Where they hit you up.
Yeah.
What you got going on?
A lot of the stuff of what I talk about, I dive even deeper in my I Love Money course, which is in my Money Expansion Club that we are launching on Monday. The people are lining up and we're
I recorded her video, guys.
What did you say?
I said I recorded her video.
You did. Oh, that's the best video. I'm in the bathtub just throwing money. Is awesome.
That's great.
And so there's that for like an entry level type of, if you just want access to the course, and we do accountability, like weekly accountability, and we talk about money. Like we're putting away the shame and we're actually talking about money. That's the point of the group. It's like, I want you to talk about money. I want you to tell me how much money you want to make this month. And I want you to put it in the group and be seen in it, which I think is really cool. I also have a mastermind, which is where we heal the relationship to money and do business growth. And then my one-on-one is more for my addiction to chaos, my high performers, and my people that are trying to dive into that fulfillment piece more so. But if you ever work with me, it's never just about money. It's a life of success and fulfillment. Like that is the goal. Like if you ever work with me, it's never just success. It's never just fulfillment. It's both. And I believe that we deserve to have it all. Mm-hmm. And so follow me on Instagram and all of my resources will be there. And I would love to connect. If you have any questions, message me. I'm open.
Yeah. Repeat your handle.
Oh, at LauPlante, LauPlante.
Yeah, homies. Go hit her up. It's so fun. She's so cute. I make guest appearances sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love this conversation. I love you. Our magic to this world. Very expansive human being. And I love it. Y'all know what to do. If you love this episode, please go take that star, click the 5-star, go down, scroll down if you're on Apple, scroll to the bottom, write us a review. You know my mission this year is to get us into the top 1%. Our downloads by the thousands now, and it's really, I think we're almost at like 30,000, which is really freaking cool. So we're on our way up.
Love support.
Yeah. Do that and then go binge the rest of the podcast, send this to a friend, and then come hang out over on Instagram. I love you.
We love you.
Bye.